One of my biggest reasons for teaching emotional mastery is because I am very passionate about a moratorium, a complete zero tolerance of emotional violence in relationships. Most people will say, I have zero tolerance for physical violence. I would never stay with a partner who hit me or physically violated me in any way. But then there's more tolerance for emotional violence. I think that one of the reasons for this is because emotions are kind of this ephemeral, not really real kind of thing in our culture, which isn't true, but they're difficult to measure. So they have this non-real quality where we can truly measure physical violence or physical acts of harm, and emotional acts of harm kind of have this elusive quality to them. But really, my zero tolerance for emotional abuse or emotional violence in relationships began with me deciding that I would not use emotional violence in relationship for any reason whatsoever. So this was a zero tolerance policy that I first put in place with myself. And this is the other component that kind of has us working through emotional violence in a way that we wouldn't try to work through physical violence necessarily, or if we think violence is completely inappropriate, we would still work through emotional violence because we have all this programming about doing the work that relationships require, facing hard feelings, all of these things. Emotional violence is not part of that. It's not overcoming emotional violence is not part of the hard work that relationships require. The hard work that relationships require is to hold zero tolerance within myself for wielding emotional violence toward others. So when I absolutely hold zero tolerance for my own wielding of emotional violence toward others, for control, for manipulation, for satisfying my own feelings, my own vindictive impulses, any of those reasons that I had, it's really their fault, they really need to be punished, all of that. I completely cleansed myself of that. Once I cleansed myself of that, I was capable of attracting and being attractive to people who had zero tolerance for emotional violence for themselves or from other people. When I was willing to enact emotional violence against other people, I had to be around people who thought emotional violence was not a deal breaker in relationships. And once I decided that emotional violence from me was a deal breaker, and that I could, I knew that I could hold that, then I could say it's a deal breaker from someone else. So this always begins within. Zero tolerance begins within, that I will not commit any emotional violence. And when I really hold that zero tolerance standard for myself, that's when I'm capable of relating with other people who hold that zero tolerance. So hope that helps. And check out Emotional Mastery, because this is the way.